Well, here's my presentation. Any questions? Kind of social media in a donut. I like that. So my name is Jason Mortvedt. For those who don't know me, I'm the Digital Marketing Communications Coordinator here at Mary Greeley. So I manage Mary Greeley's website and social media channels. And we're up to 11 different social media pages here that the hospital runs. Everything from, we have Twitter, Facebook. We are on YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Google Plus as well. And within those, in our Facebook page, we have some support groups pages, and we have Lifetime Fitness Center has a Facebook page. Diabetes and Nutrition Education Center have a Facebook page. So there's actually more than you might think that a hospital might have, but we're pretty involved. So our agenda for today here is to talk about general social media uses and benefits, best practices and things to avoid, a little bit about your online reputation and how social media plays into that, managing comments about the hospital that you might run into when you're on social media, and then we'll take a look at a few of Mary Greeley's social media channels, and then I want to save plenty of time at the end for your questions too. In preparing for this, I was mentioning to a couple of people, I'm not real sure of where everyone is, if you use social media quite a bit, or if you've never really used it at all. So we'll kind of start as basic as we can. But first I wanted to just take a look at this. So what do you think? Is there Anything in there that surprised you? Yes? Yeah. Yeah, isn't that funny? Participation will be rewarded, by the way. We have these Mary Greeley pens. I don't know if you've seen them. They have little stylus on the end for your smartphone or your iPad.
Thank you.
Anything else that you thought was interesting in that video? Anybody?
I like the fact that seniors are getting on Twitter more.
Yes. Yes. Or social media in general.
Yeah, because I mean, my kids can't believe I don't have a landline. They were very impressed that I just have my cell phone, but now it's like, you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, let's go with Twitter, Mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good.
I mean, you're a senior. I will admit it.
You get a little Mary Greeley flashlight. People tell me that all the time. They're like, well, the seniors aren't on social media. That's not how to reach seniors, but it is. I mean, that's something that's surprising to people. Oh, sorry. She mentioned that she was surprised that the stat that they had for seniors, that they're one of the fastest growing demographics on social media. Anybody else? I thought it was interesting. A lot of little factoids in there. The attention span I thought was interesting too. That average attention span is 7 seconds, and a goldfish has an attention span of 8 seconds. So yeah.
Actually, that's surprising that elderly are in social media because everybody underneath is. So I know, like, my parents are getting into computers and Facebook and stuff because they want to stay connected with family, not taking pictures of family anymore and staying connected unless they are involved.
Absolutely. So just repeating for the recording that people are getting on social media because their family members are on social media, and I know that's why my mom first got on it, so that she could see the grandkids' photos that we're posting all the time. So you have some Mary Greeley hand sanitizer there. So just social inventory. How many of you are active on at least one social network? Just raise your hand. So we got a good group here. Where are our power users? How many can't live without social media, would you say? Yeah, a few of you? Good. You're on it every day, a few times a day. How many are not on it at all? A few of you, maybe, which is okay, no judgment. But I do want to know, because I want to be able to make this presentation beneficial to everybody here. So feel free at any point just to shout out questions, and we'll get through it together. What sites and apps do you use? What's that? FitnessPal? Okay. Facebook? Everyone on Facebook? Twitter? Instagram? Okay.
Snapchat.
Pinterest? Snapchat? Okay. Who do you follow? What? Anybody has? Mary Greeley. I like that answer. So, friends, celebrities, kids. Yep. Just curious, what do you like about Mary Greeley, or dislike?
I like the wellness tips. But I also like seeing all the. I like the spotlights when you spotlight on the employees or something special that's going on. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm. There's your. Okay, so just so that we're all kind of on the same page here, here's a social media cheat sheet, and I have a few copies of this I can hand out as well, and I think we're going to email it too. But just to get some definitions a little bit, I guess. Facebook is the one that most people are on. It's a global network used by 128 million users to share photos, videos, and links, as well, and there's instant messaging on there as well. Twitter, it's a constant feed of information, and that can be overwhelming to some people. Others really like it because it's instant news source, 140 characters or less, so it's constantly scrolling. Instagram, we had an Instagram user, yep. That's primarily a mobile app that shares pictures and short videos. Pinterest, use Pinterest. Why do you like Pinterest? Recipes?
Yeah, just all kinds, so much information. I don't use a recipe book anymore. I go to Pinterest.
Yep.
Search.
Yep. So she said she doesn't use a recipe book anymore. She just searches Pinterest. So that's great. 80% of Pinterest users are women. So that's why here at Mary Greeley, we decided to hop on Pinterest. We were one of the first hospitals on Pinterest because so many women are on it, and women are primarily the healthcare decision makers of their family. So we thought that would be a good place to showcase a lot of the things that we're doing and the things we offer too. As she said, great for finding ideas around many topics, inspiring and motivating. Google Plus, that's a less popular network. Anybody using Google Plus? Yeah? Wow, good, a few of you. Google Plus is very similar to Facebook, and they actually have some really good features that a lot of people don't realize that they have. They have circles, communities, and video hangouts. A lot of people also are on Google Plus and they don't even know it because if you have a YouTube account or if you have a Gmail account, I'm pretty sure it forces you to have a Google Plus account. So it's more of a quiet network just because fewer people really get it or are on it. LinkedIn is a network used primarily by business professionals. It's valuable for job searching, networking. Quite a few people are on that too. And Snapchat there at the bottom, that's one of the newbies. It's a mobile app for sharing pictures between friends, 100 million users and rapidly growing. And it's really used by young people. Young, private, cool, mom-free. Doesn't store photos automatically. So one of the features of Snapchat is that once things are posted, they go away. There's not like that timeline. But you need to be careful because people can always screenshot things. And now I think they've changed something so it's easier to just save it. If you get, say, a recipe or something that you can hit save and it will store that. So there are some privacy concerns, spam issues with that, just because it's a newer social media channel. So social media in general, it's great for allowing you to stay in touch with friends and family, as we've already kind of mentioned. A good source of news and events. So in a previous life of mine, I was a TV news reporter, and we would always be working towards the next newscast. And that's just kind of how things worked, and people found out about news when they flipped on the TV or got their copy of the newspaper. Well, now, and as I was leaving the television business, it's immediate. Like when news breaks, you post it online right away. And so that's one benefit of social media, is that you'll find out about when big stuff happens, probably on Facebook or wherever you are active on social media. Connecting with your favorite stores, restaurants, causes, bands, etc. And it allows you to share your thoughts, showcase your expertise. People and companies, check out your social media accounts and might Google your name as a background check, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Good reasons to use social media: establish and build your personal brand. So if you're on social media, you're kind of putting yourself out there. You can list your education, interests and hobbies, skills and experiences, causes you care about. So, like businesses have a brand, you yourself have your own brand, and you're putting out your own reputation there on social media. It's great for networking, and some are better than others at that. News breaks on social media, like we talked about. Camaraderie during events. My favorite example of this is when we did the pink glove dance here last year. And if you were watching our Facebook channels or our Twitter feeds at that point, it was really cool to see the camaraderie and people coming together and say, hey, I was part of this event and it was so cool. And suddenly we would have thousands and thousands of likes and clicks on our social media posts. And it was all related to that pink glove dance and breast cancer support. And more control of your Google results. So let's talk a little bit about that right now. Google and search engine optimization, SEO, and why you should care. So search engine optimization is when trying to impact, say, Google, when somebody searches something, what shows up in those organic or unpaid results. So people can pay, like Mary Greeley, we could pay to have our result be first when someone searches, say, cardiac care in Ames. That we could pay to have that result post first, be the first thing that people see. It's also important, though, for yourself, because the search engines pull a lot of information and data from these social media sites. For example, when you search my name, Jason Mortvedt, this is what shows up. And because I have my information out on social media, that's where all of this stuff is being pulled from. So you can see it's pulling my profile picture there from Google+. It says up here, right there, has my job title, where I work, where I went to college, where I live. My Facebook feed is there. A couple pictures of me. The sea captain is not me. I don't know what that is. But LinkedIn account. So if you've never done this before, it's good to just go to Google and type in your name and see what happens, because there might be incorrect information about you. There might be bad information about you that you might want to look into. It's your online reputation, so I just wanted to make sure that is something that you are aware of. Now, it's not necessarily pulling in everything you post to social media. It's just pulling in, a lot of times this stuff will be public. Your profile picture, whatever you put as your profile picture, will be made public. On a lot of these sites, there are privacy settings, which we'll also talk about later, that you can make quite a bit of what you post private. But I know that for many of these social media sites, this basic information about you will show up, will be public. So it's just good to know. So a little bit about Mary Greeley's social media policies, and the full policy is on the community relations page on the intranet. But first and foremost is patient privacy. Follow Mary Greeley policies, HIPAA, Acts of Pride, photo release forms, so you can't ever just post a photo of a patient, obviously, without their written consent on a photo release form, which is also on the community relations intranet page. And copyright, you don't want to be posting copyrighted items, or you'll be in violation of copyright law. Mary Greeley discourages friending of patients, unless, of course, that relationship predates the relationship through the hospital, but just something to be aware of. And the big deal with that is, if you post something like, hey, saw you at the hospital the other day, hope everything's going okay, that would be a violation of HIPAA. And it's something that's real easy to do, or, I hope you're doing well, and you might not even think about it because they're your friend, but it's, with our particular situation, that can be something that would not be good. Management discouraged from friending employees they manage just because of issues that could arise from that. And it's also good to use a disclaimer sometimes, stating that your opinions are your own and do not represent the views of the organization. An example of this, I guess, might be if say you're very political, or you're making statements on a forum or on Facebook. And as you can see, it automatically has your name and where you work right there, and so people will kind of connect those dots, and it could have nothing to do with the hospital, of course, but it's just sort of part of who you are and how you appear online, so that's also something I guess worth noting. Jobs lost due to social media. This picture was enough to cost this girl her job. She is a teacher, and she posted this picture, and she's currently fighting to get her job back. So be careful about photos you post. 22-year-old North Carolina waitress. She blasted 2 customers over Facebook for stiffing her on a tip and keeping her late. She also listed by name the place that she works, and she was fired for breaking a rule about disparaging customers. And then this one, maybe a little closer to home, a nursing school employee at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. She responded to a tweet by the governor, Haley Barbour, at that time, regarding budget trimming. And he had tweeted, "Glad the legislature recognizes our state's dire fiscal situation. Look forward to hearing their ideas on how to trim expense." And then this nursing school employee, she tweeted back that a better way to trim expenses would be for the governor to schedule regular medical exams like everyone else instead of paying the hospital employees overtime to do it when clinics are usually closed. So that was seen as a HIPAA violation, and she was asked to resign. So it's important to know when you post things to your social media accounts, you just need to be smart about it. I mean, things that you wouldn't say in person to people, then don't post that online. You may think that your privacy settings are such where the people who you don't want to see it won't ever see it. But you can't really think like that, because somebody else who is your friend might see it and pass it along, and pretty soon what goes around comes around. So here's some more opportunities lost, and then we'll move on from this. But a coach from University of Charleston, we dropped a recruit this past week because of his Twitter. We were ready to offer him until we saw some of the things he posted. So you never know who's going to see stuff. And I don't want to completely scare you off from social media if you're not currently a part of it, but it is something to be aware of. So before social media, you were at your local high school basketball game, and say that's you, and you see these two ladies talking over there, and they're like, you wouldn't believe how that Mary Greeley nurse treated me. So then you're thinking, what do I do? That's just a conversation in the crowd. Now people will tell their 250 closest friends what happened in seconds by a post on social media, and they do, and you've seen it, right? So here's just a real-life example. This one's from McFarland Clinic. I think urgent care at McFarland Clinic needs a reality check. Seriously, why can't it just be a walk-in appointment? Why do you have to call? And then people start commenting, oh, I was there. Seriously, this is the only way, And then it just kind of builds and it builds and it builds. So you do, how do you handle things like that when you see them? And these things happen to Mary Greeley as well. That was just a McFarland post. But, really they don't happen very often. And that's one of the things that part of my job is to monitor things like that. But, I could probably count on one hand the number of times we've had a real situation like that we've had to deal with. But, if you see something like that, how should you respond? Are you required to respond? And no, you're not required to do that if you're uncomfortable confronting them. But if you do choose to respond, I just thought I would mention some recommendations so that you can handle this situation. So if you see a negative comment about the medical center, you may choose to just share it with your manager or me in community relations, and we can handle it. We appreciate that. But what can you do? So you could respond to the individual with the concern and ask for their phone number and permission for quality management or management team to follow up with them if they want, if you feel comfortable doing that. If not, you could always offer our quality management phone number, and they could take it, and discuss it with them, because, really that's what we want to do, is get to the bottom of their concern. A lot of people won't take that step to get to the bottom of their concern. They'll just want to tell all their friends. So that's why they post things like that. So you can post directly something like this. I'm sorry to hear about your concern with Mary Greeley Medical Center. Would it be okay if a member of our management team give you a call to discuss your concern? It's fairly, I don't know. It's not too threatening or anything like that, but I think it at least shows that you care, and that we care here at Mary Greeley too. You could direct message them, and direct message is just a private message that nobody else would see, the same statement above. Or you could personally call them or make a face-to-face visit with them. So why can't the hospital just call the person? I don't want to get involved. Well, if we were to reach out to that person, it becomes a little more awkward, I think. They could instantly become defensive and want to know, well, how did Mary Greeley find out about this? And also the concerns are best handled when the individual with the concern is directed to the appropriate resource to help. Plus, with privacy settings, something that you see in your Facebook feed or wherever you see it, if I went to look, I might not be able to see it because I'm not friends with that person. So that's just sort of some guidelines. Again, that's the minority. We get lots of positive comments, and if you're on any of Mary Greeley's social media, you've seen them, which I think is pretty cool. Here was one recently. Has anyone taken Moms in Motion at Mary Greeley? Was it worth $42 a month? And suddenly we had a whole bunch of comments on there. Yeah, worth every cent. And Lynn is amazing. The class helped me a lot. So this is the real cool stuff, I think, that we get lots of great comments. So these are some of our most popular posts that we've had. This gestational carrier post had over 84,000 views. Pink glove dance, that was certainly one of our most popular items. Pride posts, whenever we post the Pride winners online on social media, those are always some of the most popular. Harrison Barnes, when he visited. More Pride post stuff, moving day. I mentioned briefly before some support groups we have. We have this breastfeeding support group on Facebook where moms can share stories, ask questions, and get support with breastfeeding. And it has really caught on fast. It's been really, really cool. If people have questions, if they're having issues, it's a great support group type of a feel. And we're now starting to expand it. We just launched a diabetes support group on Facebook, and that's really catching on. And we're considering other areas where it might be helpful, because that's where people are. They're on social media, and that's where they're connecting with others. And so if we can be there to kind of help facilitate. Now, we do make a point of saying it's for educational purposes only, and everything that you share about your medical situation is public. So we want you to be aware of that. But a lot of people feel comfortable sharing and getting some good help with what they're dealing with. YouTube videos, we post quite a few videos online. This full-length surgery, we've posted a couple of full-length surgeries online, and I actually just checked this yesterday. We're up to 50,000 views on there. And the thing that I think is really cool about posting these surgeries, with the patient's permission, of course, is that people will comment things like this: I'm getting the surgery done next week, and I'm terrified, but this video really helped me, and it doesn't look that bad. So I think that's pretty cool. Question?
The previous statement about support groups, when people when nurses giving support or advice, they're not giving it from the standpoint of a nurse at that time, are they? I mean,
If a nurse is part of the support group?
yeah, there are some nurses.
There are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the lactation consultants on there, and some of the nurses.
Giving help and stuff locally or, on the Facebook support group there. Are there any legalities as far as, like, because you are a nurse, but you're not acting as a nurse, you're not employed by a nurse.
Right.
At the moment, so there's no
Right.
concern in regards to that.
We haven't had any concerns, because you are, as you say, you're posting as yourself. So you're coming up as your own personal profile and giving your own personal suggestions or thoughts like that. And it's a support group, and that is, that's an important distinction, is that we're not, for, I guess, medical advice. You should still talk to your doctor or talk to your professional. Educational purposes only, and we've kind of put together a disclaimer that certainly addresses that. But that's a good question, because it is, all of this is a balancing act. So the pink glove dance, if you haven't seen that, check it out. So just wrapping up here before we move to some of your questions. General best practices: use a clear photo of yourself for your profile picture. Complete all bio and description fields. Use your real name and not a nickname. When social media first started, a lot of people would kind of make up some kind of a silly name or a nickname or something, and now sort of best practice is to use your real name and your real description, and don't tag friends in unfavorable photos. Keep in mind that social media profiles will pop up high in search results, which you saw with mine there. Don't rant online about anything, really. There is no sarcasm font. Listen first, think it through before posting. Be respectful, not argumentative, and be yourself. If you're not on social media currently, start slowly. You don't have to dive into everything on this list all at once. Maybe just choose one and see how it goes. And if you wonder, should I post this? Don't. You'll be happy about that later. Be prepared to stand behind anything and everything you publish online, because it can come back to haunt you. So join the conversation. And now what I thought I would do is maybe just hop on some of these social media channels and talk a little bit about what they offer and how to use them. Let me see here. If the computer cooperates. Do you have any questions? Is there a social media channel that you want to know more about that you just don't really get? Otherwise, I can kind of start talking a little bit about some of these. Yes?
You said earlier that sometimes there's incorrect information out there about you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How do you get it removed if you find incorrect information?
So the question is, if there's information about you that's not correct, or maybe it's just incomplete about you, how do you correct that? Like in your search result on Google. So the biggest thing for that is just to make sure that all of your information is there and is correct. So if if you see that your job title is incorrect, or I worked there 10 years ago, I work somewhere else now. That's basically all there is to it. It's just making sure that your profile information, because that's where it's pulling from. It's pulling from that general profile information that's on your page. So, yep, you can edit all of that information. So here you can see on LinkedIn, it's just clicking a button right here. On Facebook. So this is Mary Greeley's page. But yeah, there's the settings that you would want to go into to update your profile information. Any other questions, or should we are there any of these, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, that you want to kind of explore a little bit together, or? Twitter? Sure.
I know about it, but I have never done it.
Yeah. So let's see. This is Mary Greeley's Twitter page. So this right here is your Twitter timeline, and these are all the tweets that are coming in just as they happen. They're coming in one right after the next. So there's some certain vocabulary with Twitter that you need to know. A tweet is, as I mentioned before, 140 characters. So you're limited to just 140 characters. And to create a tweet, it's this right up here. This computer is sort of dragging, so I apologize for that. And this is where you would compose that new tweet. Once it loads here. There we go. Let me see. Start off with a mention. So say I was tweeting something and I wanted to mention McFarland Clinic in it. You would do the @ symbol and then just start typing in McFarland Clinic. And then it'll give you all kinds of suggestions here, and that's the one I want. So when you do that, what I am doing is I'm giving McFarland Clinic a heads up that I'm talking about them. And so they will see that. It's a way to reference another user in a tweet, and it's a way to conduct discussions on Twitter. So you're like McFarland Clinic, and then you would type in the rest of it here. There we go. So slow, sorry. You guys do a great job. My wife is actually the marketing person over there who manages their social media. So, all right. And you can see down here, I don't know if you can see that, it's maybe kind of hard to see, but it counts down how many characters you've used. And when you go over, it'll turn red and it'll show you that, oh, you've got too many. And then the other thing with Twitter is the hashtag. Maybe you've seen the hashtag, and actually Facebook is using hashtags as well. So a hashtag is a way to find a certain topic of conversation or participate in a larger conversation. So I posted something yesterday and used the hashtag Ebola, because if you search the Ebola hashtag, then you'll find everybody who posted something about Ebola. So you would do that by just doing the pound sign. And you can see these are the hashtags that are sort of trending globally, I guess. So you would pick that, Ebola. And I'm not going to post this, obviously, but so that's how you do a hashtag. Now, I'm going to close out of this. Obviously, you want your hashtag to be related to what you're posting about. This would work a lot better if it was faster. Okay, so up here you can search Twitter. While that loads, I guess we'll talk about the other stuff. So this is home. This is your timeline of all the tweets, all the people that you're following. And with Twitter, following someone is not necessarily, it doesn't mean that they're your friend or anything like that. It just means that you think what they're posting is interesting and you want to follow their posts. And so once you follow their posts, then they will show up in your Twitter feed here. Notifications is when there's somebody who mentioned you, or they liked a tweet that you put out there, or maybe they retweeted you. So retweeting means that they like what you posted enough that they're sending it on to all of the people who follow them. And it's really hard to demonstrate when it's slow like this. So. But what you can do is hit the retweet button, which is hard to see on there, I realize, but on each post there's a retweet button, so you can just hit retweet and then it'll go to all the people that follow you. Discover, these are the hashtags, so you can see what's trending right now, what's popular, what people are talking about. So right here, right now, so globally, people are looking at Ebola, all these things. This is a promoted one. So one thing with social media is that you'll see stuff that's like, now why is that? Why is Truckworthy on there? And this Chevy Trucks paid a lot of money to make sure that you saw this. So you'll see that on all of your social media channels, that you'll have paid posts and promoted posts and stuff that's appearing in your timeline that you're wondering, now why am I getting that? And that would be why. They paid a lot of money to make that happen. There's also on Facebook, we recently went on a cruise for our 10-year anniversary, and so we were doing a lot of searching for cruises and stuff like that on Google. Well, that information, there are little spiders or whatever you want to call them that knows that I've been searching for cruises. So suddenly in my Facebook feed, I'm seeing all of these ads for different cruises and stuff. And you've probably seen that too. So that would be why. It's all part of the marketing game today. And if you want to spend money to do stuff like that, it is possible. So did that help a little bit?
People have to ask permission to follow your tweets, or does it just happen?
No, people can follow you. Now there are privacy settings where you can make your tweets private, but most of what's on Twitter is fully public. Yep. You didn't even use the microphone, did you? Any other questions or thoughts, concerns? Sure. I don't have that pulled up here. Instagram is another one of those that's primarily a mobile, that you primarily use on mobile, but I think that we can at least view a feed on here. We're not on Instagram, no. Let me see, I'll pull it up. Oop, I spelled it wrong. Instra. Another thing that I've heard people say is, well, you're posting all this stuff to Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook. How can I see it? And actually, you can see Mary Greeley's feed because we're completely open to the public. So if you go to facebook.com and /Mary Greeley Medical Center, you'll be able to see everything that we posted on there. Okay, well, guess I'm not going to be able to get in right now, but so Instagram is primarily photos, and you can have some social connection on there as well because there's the sharing and that sort of thing. There's also videos now, so it's similar to Vine, if you know what Vine is, where those real short videos. Instagram has something similar. So, anybody use Instagram quite a bit? Yeah? What is there something that you like about it, or? I actually don't use it too much, so I'm. Yeah. Just photos. Mm-hmm. And you can actually tie it to like Facebook too, so that when you post on Instagram, it'll automatically post over there. Right. You know. If anybody has any questions about any of this, feel free to email me or ask me about it. I'm on social media every day, but I don't know everything about it either. So there are certain ones that I personally use quite a bit, and others that I haven't really scoped out yet because there are hundreds of these different social media channels. So each one kind of has its own little niche. All right.
Well, thank you, Jason, for presenting this. It was a very good presentation. We appreciate it. And I will go ahead and mail out Jason's handout to everybody that's here today so that once I get it imported from the scanner, I'll send it out to you.
I do have a few printed out here, too. So actually, I think I have enough for everybody here if you want one. And it's basically just that cheat sheet that I put up that describes what each different social media channel is and what it's good for. And I have a bunch of pens, too. So you can grab one of those.
Well, thanks for coming today.